Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. This is your no-nonsense guide to building the new Necrofluid Gauntlet Wonder Weapon for free in Ashes of the Damned. The Wonder Weapon is pretty cool and it actually has multiple uses. So you can fire out a barbed spike, which will deal damage on impact. And then when you press your reload button, you can recall that spike to the glove that you're holding. But you can also fire out a spike using your regular shoot button, and then hold your aim down sight button, so left trigger or L2 on controller, and that's going to cause the barb to explode in place instead of recalling it back to you, and that will deal damage as well when it explodes. Now, not only that, but you're also going to get overhealed when you're using the Necrofluid Gauntlet. It's going to give you some extra HP on your health bar, and you're going to be able to lifesteal by pulling those barbs back to you through zombies, and all the damage you do there will be yours to boost your health bar. So let's talk about how you build it. The first thing you need to do is activate the power switches in the map, just like you would normally do to activate the Pack-a-Punch machine. So that's Farm or Blackwater first, then you'll do Ashwood second in the middle of the map. You'll finish activating Tessie with the Pack-a-Punch, and then you'll do the remaining power switch at either Farm or Blackwater that you haven't done yet. And then you need to come to this location here, and this seems to mainly start working around 8 to 10 or 8 to 11. The Uber Klaus is going to spawn in from this Project Janus container in Janus Plaza. And he is very difficult to kill, so it's a good idea to make sure that you have done things like pack-punched your gun once before you try to fight Klaus, or you do things like upgrading your rarity and stuff like that. You can also use ammo mods to make your life a bit easier. I recommend using Cryo Freeze. That's something that Klaus is weak to. And Klaus is also weak to Napalm Burst. Now, if you don't get the Uber Klaus to spawn in, if you're confused why it's not spawning for you, try going to the next round and making sure that you get nice and close to that container. And you should see it, like I said, between rounds 8 to 12 or so. But if you still have any trouble, then check the description of this video and I'll have a little explanation there as to some extra troubleshooting steps you can try. Once the Uber Klaus is dead, it will drop a stabilizer chip part highlighted in yellow that you need to pick up. Then take that chip to Klaus's cage, not the Uber Klaus's cage, in the Ashwood jail and interact with the terminal just here to install the chip. You then need stun grenades, and you can craft these at crafting benches all over the map. They cost 250 salvage to craft, but I like spawning into my game with them so I can do this step for free. And you can also find stun grenades around the map as you play as well, so keep an eye out for those if you don't have stuns, and you can get them from doing that so you don't have to spend salvage. You're going to want 4 stun grenades in your inventory, and you're going to go up to that jail cell, and you're then going to throw all 4 stuns in a row at Klaus, and that is going to cause him to wake up. Once he's awake, he will fly out of the jail cell, and you'll then see Klaus is equipping one of your grenade slots, and you'll be able to move Klaus around by pressing your bumper on controller, and I think it's Q by default on PC to move him. You need to go all the way to the Cosmodrome while Klaus is active and move Klaus to this position just here in front of this broken wall panel. Klaus will bash the panel, and that will mean that you can then go and interact with the panel. When you do this, it's going to start a little timer, and you need to stand inside the red laser that appears, and by standing in that and defending from the zombies that are attacking you, you'll see progress going up on the little bar in the corner of your screen, indicating that your Retina is being scanned or something like that. If you're having trouble with this step, it might be because you've got other players also standing in the scanner. You need them to not be in the scanner, and you also need to make sure that you've taken a look at the scanner itself that's beaming towards you before you start defending from the zombies. And if you're not getting progress, again, just take another look back at it. You'll have a bunch of purple zombies spawn, take them all down, and once completed, you'll then be able to pick up the canister from the little cupboard in the wall just here. Now, if you mess this up for some reason, for example, you ran out of Klaus time initially, and you don't know how to get him to interact with the panel, you can go to one of the Klaus activation stations around the map and call him back in there once he is off cooldown, and his cooldown is a couple of minutes. So, assuming you've now picked up that canister from the red scanner, you're going to need to go to all the power stations around the map, so that's Ashwood, Farm, and Blackwater, just like we did at the start of the video, and place the canister inside each of those power stations in turn. But I have a recommendation for the order you should do these in. In my opinion, first, you should place the canister in Ashwood, and then you should worry about Blackwater, and finally, you should do Farm. When we're doing those canisters, what's going to happen is you'll place it inside the generator, and you'll then need to defend from zombies while a progress meter fills up once again. Once it's finished, you'll be able to grab the canister out again, and a new timer will start, and this is counting down to when you next need to have the canister placed by. So go from Ashwood and go as fast as you can to Blackwater and place that canister inside. Then go through the process of charging it up, then take the canister out again, you'll have another countdown timer, and get to farm as fast as possible and put it inside the generator. Then when you finish charging at the farm, that's 3 full charges in the canister, you need to bring the canister downstairs to the cube in the basement of the farm. And if you hold square with the canister on the box, it's gonna take the canister from you, and you'll see that the box's appearance has changed. The next thing we're gonna do is use the jump pad between Janus Towers and the farm area, and while airborne, we're gonna look for the 3 red symbols on the barn roof. You should be able to see them nice and clearly here, here, and here, as I'm showing you in my gameplay. And once you've got those noted down, maybe on a piece of paper, or you've got them memorized, you're then gonna go back to the farm area, and you need to go back to that cube, and on the front side of the cube, you'll see it's got an eyeball. Don't touch that side, but on the other sides, you'll be able to hold square and cycle through different symbols, and you just need to make it so that the 3 symbols that you saw on the roofs show up on the edges of the box. Thankfully, each edge of the cube has a different set of symbols, so there's no risk that you're going to accidentally put the same symbol in twice in a row. So just get it so that you've put all 3 symbols onto the box, and then go and hold square on the box's eyeball on the front of the box. That acts as you inputting your code, and when done successfully, it will then open up and the gauntlet will be available inside. But you do not have the gauntlet for free use to do whatever you want with just yet. You've still got one last step to do, and it's a little lockdown. This is basically the game's way of teaching you how the gauntlet works. So it's going to show on your screen that you can fire out that barb, like I said at the start of the video. You can recall the barb by pressing your reload button, and you can fire a barb and then cause it to blow up in place using your aim down sight button or your left trigger or what have you. And the way the game's going to teach you all this is it's going to force you to do it. So there's green blobs around the basement that you need to shoot with a regular barb, and then you just need to hit that reload button and it will recall the barb, and as it does so, it will destroy the little green blobs. Once you've destroyed all the little green blobs, you'll be able to leave, and you will not be able to leave prior because you'll be rooted in place on the sigil that appears on the floor. And so only once that's done will you actually have access to the wonder weapon to do with whatever you desire. Now, a few things to note about how this wonder weapon works is that you start off and you've got a fairly limited amount of ammo, but the nice thing about it, it is able to be pack-a-punched. So a lot of wonder weapons in zombies history have required specific extra upgrade quests in order to get upgraded, whereas this one just goes straight in the back of Tessie, and you can upgrade it 3 times. However, obviously, you can't upgrade its rarity because it's already wonder weapon rarity, and those can't be upgraded. This means you can get a ton more ammo with it, but you can actually avoid running out of ammo pretty much completely if you're careful by just making sure you recall your barbs while in range for them to actually get back to you. If you don't do that and you recall the barbs when they're really far away, they won't reach you, they'll just sort of disappear in midair, and that will then start burning your ammo count down. But if you're nice and close by, you'll keep all that ammo, and you'll be able to just use this thing more or less indefinitely. So now that you've built the Necrofluid Gauntlet, the next thing to do is the main quest Easter egg on this map. You are going to need the gauntlet for it, and it's a really cool quest with pretty big implications also for the story. So click through now to the link on screen, and that will take you right through to my main quest Easter egg guide, and you can get that done with no nonsense. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you in the Easter egg guide. Bye for now.